Hello friends, welcome to our channel Mechanical Motivator. In this video, we will be seeing problems on dimensions of the flywheel rim. So before going to the problem, we will be seeing few notation. That is, R will be the mean radius of the rim. R is the mean radius of the rim in meters, and D is the mean diameter. And A is the cross sectional area. It can be written as meter square. Rho is the density. Unit is kg meter cube. N is the speed of the flywheel rim. And in terms of RPM, omega is the angular velocity. Unit is radian per second. And V is the formula for V is R omega. So V is nothing but linear velocity or peripheral velocity of the flywheel. And V can also be written as pi d n by 60. So two formulas are there. For V, we can write as R omega. R is the mean radius and omega is the angular velocity, and can also be written as pi d n by 60. Sigma is the tensile stress or hoop stress due to the centrifugal force. Unit is Newton meter square. So these are the few formulas which we will be using these formulas in our problem. So relation between hoop stress and peripheral velocity is sigma is equal to rho density into peripheral velocity square. So relation between peripheral velocity is nothing but just take the rotary downwards and put square root. So mass of the remains m is equal to volume into density. Mass is volume into density. Volume is pi dA, density rho. Area of the rim is A is equal to take this pi d rho downwards. So if the cross sectional area is rectangular means then it's breadth into thickness. So these are the formulas which we will be using in our problem. So the same way the sigma formula, mass formula. So combination of all the formulas. So these things we have already seen in previous slides. Now we'll be directly going to the problem. So first problem is, yeah, the turning moment diagram for a multi-cylinder engine has been drawn with the scale of 1 millimeter to 500 Newton meter torque. So scale is 1 millimeter to 500 Newton meter and 1 millimeter to 600 degree crank displacement. So this is the scaling factor. The interceptor areas are given below in terms of square millimeter. So when the engine is running, so these values we know, we can easily plot the diagram. On engine RPM they are given. So N is equal to 800 RPM. So we can calculate the value of omega angular velocity 2 pi n by 60. Next is the fluctuation of speed not to exceed plus or minus 2% of mean speed. So automatically omega 1 minus omega 2 will be 4% of mean speed. We need to determine the suitable diameter and cross section of the flywheel rim for a limiting value of safe centrifugal stress. So sigma stress value is 7 megapascal. So 7 into 10 power 6 Newton meter square. Density is 7,200. So 7,200 kg per meter cube. Only hint is the width of the rim is 5 times the thickness. So for these things we'll be using the end of the problem. So right now we need to calculate the diameter of the flywheel. So here the stroke length they have given us 300 mm. So stroke length, where they have given stroke length, yeah, engine stroke length is 300 mm. So we know the omega 1 minus omega 2 is equal to 4% of omega. So we can easily calculate the fluctuation of speed. CS value we can easily calculate. So coefficient of fluctuation of speed is omega 1 minus omega 2 by omega, which is nothing but 0.04. So diameter of the flywheel is D is the diameter of the flywheel and V is the peripheral velocity. We know the relation between the stress and the peripheral velocity. So sigma is equal to rho V square. So sigma value we know, and velocity we need to calculate. Rho value we already know given data. So we can easily calculate the peripheral velocity as 31.2 meter per second. So peripheral velocity is equal to pi d n by 60. This formula also we saw earlier. So in this we know the velocity, we know the speed, only unknown is diameter. So keep diameter on the left hand side and take everything to the right hand side, and you can easily calculate the diameter as 0.745 meter. Now we're going to calculate dimensions of the flywheel. T is the thickness, B is the breadth. So cross section area is breadth into thickness. They have clearly given that the width is 5 times of thickness. So breadth is equal to 5 times of T. So instead of B, you just substitute 5T. So finally 5T square. So we can easily draw this diagram, that is turning moment versus crank angle. Turning moment on y-axis and crank angle on x-axis, and they have given all the values. That is, it's minus 30. So initially we need to start the diagram with minus 30, then 410 is plus. So plus photon, likewise, we can easily complete a diagram. And calculation, before that, we need to determine the scaling value, right? So since the turning moment diagram they gave 1 mm is equal to 500 Newton meter and crank angle 1 mm is equal to 6 degrees. So convert into radian per second radian. So 6 into pi by 180. Finally, we'll be having pi by 30 radians. So if you want to determine 1 millimeter square on the turning moment diagram, because everything in millimeter square, right? 1 millimeter square on turning moment diagram, we need to multiply the turning moment scale, that is 500 into pi by 30. Finally, you will be getting 52.37 Newton meter. So 1 millimeter square is equal to 52.37 Newton meter. We know how to calculate the energy because in previous video I have clearly explained. So starting initially we need to assume that energy at this point is E and energy at B is, since it's negative, E minus 30. If it's C means E minus 30 plus photon. Likewise, if you complete at the end of the point L, you will be having the same energy whatever we got in A. So here we will be having the same energy E, which we assumed for A. If we got means then our calculation is correct. In this we will be getting two values. One is maximum, another is minimum. So maximum energy is E plus 420 and minimum energy is E minus 30. So maximum fluctuation energy is equal to maximum energy minus minimum energy. So maximum minus minimum. So you'll be getting 450 millimeter square. We going to replace this millimeter square to Newton meter by just multiplying the scaling value. Scaling value is 52.37. So once you multiply means you will be getting in terms of Newton meter. We know that maximum fluctuation of energy del E is equal to formula is mv square cs. We know the value for del E, we know the value for peripheral velocity, cs value we know. Only unknown is mass. So keep the mass over on the left hand side and take everything to the other side and you'll be determining the mass of the flywheel. So mass of the flywheel rim is equal to volume into density. So volume we can write as pi dA. Density is rho. In this we know all the values. Pi value we know, diameter we know, area is nothing but 5t square. Only the thickness is unknown and sigma value we can write, density value we can write, density we can write, and mass of the flywheel is 604. So only unknown is thickness. So determine the thickness of the flywheel. Once you find thickness means breadth we can easily find because 5 times of thickness. So breadth and thickness we found means we have determined the dimensions of the flywheel as they asked in the question. In next problem, a multi-cylinder engine is to run with a speed of 600 rpm. So n is equal to 600. On drawing the turning moment diagram with the scale factor they have given clearly. 1 millimeter is equal to 250 Newton meter and 1 millimeter is equal to 3 degree. So the areas they gave below. The speed is to be kept within plus or minus 1% of mean speed. So automatically omega 1 minus omega 2 is equal to 2% of the mean speed. Calculate a necessary mass moment of inertia. Actually, it's mass moment of inertia. Determine the suitable dimensions of the rectangular flywheel rim if the breadth is twice the thickness. So this is the hint. The density of the cast iron is 7250. Density rho value they have given. Hoop stress is 6 megapascal. Sigma value they have given. So sigma value, rho value, everything. The sigma is megapascal means 10 power 6. So we need to, and one more thing is assume that the rim contributes 92% of flywheel effect. So this one we need to consider at the end of the, during the end of the problem. So keep as it is. The rim will be contributing 92% of flywheel effect. So now we will be plotting the diagram. Plotting the diagram is very easy because they have given the areas. So first is plus. So 160 plus, 172 is minus. Likewise, we can easily plot the diagram. And they have given the fluctuation. That is, with this chain, we can easily calculate the coefficient of fluctuation of speed, which is nothing but omega 1 minus omega 2 divided by omega equal to 0.02. So CS value is 0.02, which is nothing but coefficient of fluctuation of speed. So now we're going to determine the mass moment of inertia. So I is the mass moment of inertia and scale value they have given. So 3 degree means 3 into pi by 180. So you'll be getting pi by 60 radian and 1 millimeter is equal to 250 Newton meter. So just multiply the 250 into pi by 60. You will be getting 1 millimeter square value as 13.1 Newton meter. Now determine the energy value as we know, as we saw in previous first point A, you assume the energy as E, and for point B, E plus 160, then E plus 160 minus 172. Likewise, you will be calculating means at the end you will be having the same energy whatever we assumed at A. So A at G point will be getting energy as E. So we are solution. I mean whatever we done is correct. Here we will be having one value maximum energy and one value minimum energy. For maximum fluctuation energy, maximum minus minimum. So finally, you'll be getting 197 millimeter square. So we're going to replace the millimeter square with the scaling value, that is 13.1. So finally, you'll be getting Newton meter. So maximum fluctuation of energy del E is equal to I omega square CS. So del E we know, and omega value we know, and CS value we know. And calculating mass movement of inertia is very easy. So once you calculate means you will be getting kg meter square. Next, we need to determine the dimensions of the flywheel. For that, we need to know the thickness and breadth. So T is the thickness, B is the breadth, and D is the mean diameter, and V is the peripheral velocity. Relation between stress and peripheral velocity is sigma is equal to rho V square. So we know the sigma value, we know the rho value, we can easily calculate the peripheral velocity. And peripheral velocity is pi d n by 60. So here, velocity is value we know and n value we know. We can easily calculate diameter of the mean diameter of the flywheel. So you'll be getting 0.92. They have clearly mentioned that first, if you want to find the mass of the flywheel rim means one more condition they have given. Since the rim contributes 92% of the flywheel effect, therefore the maximum fluctuation energy of the rim del E rim will be 92%. So 0.92 into fluctuation energy which we determined here. So del E we determined here, right? So we have to multiply the 0.992. So finally we'll be getting, this is the maximum fluctuation of energy of the rim. So finally we'll be getting 2375 Newton meter. We will be using this value in upcoming steps. So we know the maximum fluctuation of energy of the rim. Del E rim is this value is mv square cs. So this is the formula for maximum fluctuation of energy. And the peripheral velocity we know, cs value we know, we can easily determine mass. So mass value we got 143 kg. Mass is nothing but volume into density. Volume is pi dA, density is rho. So here the area is breadth into thickness. So in the question they have clearly given that they have given thickness if the breadth is twice the thickness, so B is equal to twice 2 times of the thickness. So here we need to write area is equal to breadth into thickness. So the breadth is 2 times of thickness, so 2 into T, and we can substitute mass as 143 pi, and D value is 0.92 and breadth is 2 times of thickness and into thickness into rho. So finally thickness is the unknown. You can easily determine the thickness value. Once you got thickness means we can easily find the breadth value because breadth is 2 times of thickness. Now we have determined the dimensions of the flywheel. So in university there are 2 categories. One, you will be getting problems on flywheel, and our second category is they will be asking us to determine the dimensions of the flywheel. These 3 problems are very important. In case if you have any doubt means you just type in the comment section. And one more problem also we had, right? Sorry, I thought the videos got over, so that's why like that. The turning moment diagram for a 4-stroke engine may be assumed. So for suction, compression, expansion, exhaust, they have given 4 values, and this is the scaling value, and these are the 2 different RPM, and this is the density value, and this is the stress value. And hint is the rim rectangular section on one side is being 4 times the length of the other. So cross section is rectangular and this is the end. We can write all the 4 values. I mean suction, compression, area, all values you write, and 2 different speed they have given. So N1 and N2 you can write, and rho value, sigma value we can write. So here we can easily plot the diagram. Here suction, compression, expansion and exhaust. So whatever value below the 0 line is negative and whatever value above the 0 line is positive. So T mean is Fg and T excess is Af and T maximum is Ag. So we know very well that net area is A3 minus sum of the suction, compression and exhaust, and finally net area will be getting 51.51 in 10 power minus 5 meter. So we know the scaling value, right? 1 meter square is equal to 14 mega Newton meter. So just convert it into Newton meter because mega means 10 power 6. So net work done can be written as net area into scaling value. Finally, you will be getting net work done as 7140 Newton meter. So we know that net work done per cycle. So T mean is equal to into 4 pi. So this is the another formula. So there are 2 equations. If you equate these 2 equations and keep T mean alone left hand side means you'll be getting a T mean, that is Fg. T mean is nothing but Fg value as 568 Newton meter. So work done during expansion stroke is A3 into work scale. So A3 value we know, work scale is 14 into 10 power 6. Finally, you will be getting one value, that is equation 3. Work done during the expansion stroke, nothing but half into base into height. Base is BC and height is AG. BC means pi, 3 pi minus 2 pi is pi, and AG is height. We need to determine that. So finally, you'll be getting 3 and 4th equation. Now you just equate 3 and 4 in order to determine AG. So these problems we saw in previous video itself. So that's why I'm just hurrying up. So AG value we try to determine excess torque. Excess torque is nothing but AF is the excess torque. So AF is nothing but AG minus FG. So excess torque also you can easily calculate. So you'll be getting one value. Now we need to determine the maximum fluctuation of energy, means we need to know the value of DE. For that, what we're going to do is we're going to use similar triangles. So DE by BC by AF by AG. So with this, we can keep DE alone on left hand side and take everything to right hand side, and you'll be getting 2.9 radians. Now the area maximum fluctuation of energy is half into base DE into height AF. DE value we just now got and AF we know. So once you substitute, you'll be getting one value. Next is we need to determine the moment of inertia of the flywheel. So moment of inertia is nothing but whatever value. I mean, we need to determine that. So n is the mean speed. So n1 plus n2 divided by 2. So we are having two different speed, and finally determine the mean speed. And corresponding angular mean speed is, so mean speed is 100 and corresponding angular mean speed is 2 pi n by 60. So you'll be getting angular velocity also. So coefficient of fluctuation of speed is n1 minus n2 divided by n. So CS is equal to n1 minus n2 divided by n1, n2 we have, n value we know. We can easily calculate the CS value. So maximum fluctuation of energy del E is nothing but del E is equal to I omega square CS. So del E you know, omega you know, CS you know. Determine the mass moment of inertia value. Next thing is we need to determine size of the flywheel. So size means thickness and breadth. So T is thickness, B breadth, and D is mean diameter, V is peripheral velocity. We know the relation between stress and the peripheral velocity. So sigma is equal to rho into V square. So sigma value you know, rho you know. Sorry, peripheral velocity we need to calculate. So sigma and rho you know. So just calculate the peripheral velocity. So you'll be getting 30.3. With that, we can also calculate diameter. So pi dn by 60. Here, diameter is the unknown. So keep the diameter on left hand side and calculate diameter of the flywheel rim. So next is we need to determine the maximum fluctuation of energy. So del E is equal to mv square CS. We know the value of del E. We know the value of peripheral velocity. We know CS value. CS also we know in the beginning itself. So finally, we can determine the mass value. So once you got mass, means it's volume and density. So volume pi dA. Actually, this G is wrong. Here G won't be coming. The volume is pi dA and density is rho. And the area is B into D. This G won't be coming. This G is wrong. This G won't come. So area is breadth into thickness. The breadth you have given 4 times of the thickness. So just substitute 4 times of thickness, and finally you will be getting the value. Only thickness is the unknown, and you will be getting the thickness value as 21.6 millimeter. And once you find thickness, means it's very easy for us to determine the breadth value, because breadth is 4 times of thickness, and you'll be determining the breadth value also. Now we have determined the dimensions of the flywheel. Thanks for watching this video. Please do subscribe to my channel, Mechanical Motivator, and press the bell icon. Then only you'll be getting all the videos which I upload.